Good afternoon. The midday news. I am Adebare Ejimakide. Former South Africa President and head of Commonwealth Observer Mission to Nigeria, Dr. Thabo Mbeki, has urged President-elect Bola Tinubu not to forget the African continent when he assumes office. According to a statement from the office of the President-elect, Mbeki spoke when he visited Tinubu in his Abuja residence on completion of the Commonwealth Observer Missions. The statement added that Mbeki noted that the election was fair and credible and asked Tinubu to make the entire African continent his compass when he takes over the reins of government. The President-elect assured the former South African president to work with Mbeki and other leaders of the continent in this direction. President Muhammadu Buhari will today leave for the 5th United Nations Conference on the least developed countries in Doha, the capital city of Qatar. According to a statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, this follows an invitation by the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Ahmad Al Thani. The conference from 5th to 9th March this year, under the theme From Potential to Prosperity, hosts once in a decade and provides an opportunity to garner the support of the international community for accelerating sustainable development in the LDCs, as well as assist them make progress towards achieving prosperity. The statement reads, in Doha, President Buhari will reinforce Nigeria's commitment to support the most vulnerable countries to meet their development challenges, highlighting areas through which the Nigerian government has provided them with various forms of assistance over time. The summit will be attended by world leaders, the private sector, civil society, and youth organizations. It aims to share developmental ideas and mobilize political will, solidarity, action, and solutions to transform the LDCs by funding sustainable solutions to the challenges of poverty, food insecurity, hunger, weak or non-existent infrastructure, inadequate health facilities, climate change, among others. Nigerians have called on the President-elect, Senator Bola Tinubu, to assemble technocrats who will help in redirecting the economy of the country. Those who spoke with OSBC News made the call against the backdrop of the promises made by the President-elect in revitalizing Nigeria's economy. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga has details.
Reactions have continued to throw President-elect in the just concluded presidential election in Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's promises to revamp Nigeria's economy, which is said to be heading towards total collapse. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's promises to revitalize Nigeria's economy have raised the hopes of Nigerians who believe that the country can become great again if proper plans are well put in place and well implemented. Speaking on this development, an economist, Dr. Yinka Anjus, and a public affairs commentator, Dr. Olurotimi Fagbule, maintained that Nigeria is operating an import-driven economy, which has made it dependent upon other countries of the world to survive, adding that if the President-elect can address this and encourage local productions, the country will be better for it. They added that the only way the President-elect can encourage local production is by making sure that basic amenities such as good road network, regular electricity supply, and adequate security are put in place to encourage foreign investors into the country. The duo of Dr. Anjus and Dr. Fagbule, speaking on the possible ways to avert the economic crisis, maintain that there is need for the government to step up their games in redirecting physical resources to investment in infrastructure facilities, education and health services, including the stability of the distribution of energy and catalyzing private investment to boost job creation by improving the transparency of key government to business services and eliminating trade restrictions.
The first thing we expect him to do is to turn around the fortune of Nigeria that affects everything, including economy. That is called fiscal federalism. He should make sure that 3 things that affect the economy are there. Number 1, he should make sure that everybody can do whatever God has given to him or her. I am talking about entrepreneurship development. So it affects education. Everything should start from primary school. It's never too late to start. We have done it before, again in the First Republic. When I was in the primary school, every Thursday was being set aside for us to go and learn hand skills. What you can do with your hands. We have to catch them young. So let him revisit that. Then he should also make sure, whether we like it or not, to make sure that he empowers people by making sure there's power supply. If there's no power supply, it kills the economy. Let him see whatever he could do to make power to stay. Then finally, let us make sure that we see what we can do to empower the youth. Let us create employment.
I believe with God, all things are possible. Let us wait and see what type of magic the president-elect will use to do what is promising.
The respondents, however, called on the federal government, president-elect and other stakeholders to re-strategize by seeking the services of professionals who will redirect the economy of the country. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, OSBC News.
The Supreme Court has ruled that all 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes should remain in circulation till December 31st this year. Justice Emmanuel Ajim, who read the lead judgment, held that the preliminary objections by the defendants by the Attorney General of the Federation, Bayelsa, and Edo States are dismissed as the court has the jurisdiction to entertain the suit. The Apex Court also nullified the federal government's Naira redesign policy, declaring it as an affront to the 1999 Constitution. The Apex Court further held that the policy is flawed with a lot of challenges, which has made people engaging in trade by barter in a bid to survive. It will be recalled that 16 states of the Federation instituted the suit to challenge the legality or otherwise of the introduction of the policy. The ruling All Progressives Congress has called on Central Bank of Nigeria, Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and the Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami, to resign their positions over their ignoble role in the new Naira redesign policy. This was as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, applauded the ruling of the Apex Court, saying it has validated the position of the lawmakers that the implementations of the policy went contrary to the law establishing the CBN. Meanwhile, the CBN has not issued a statement over the judgment, though there were indications that it may have set up a team to study the ruling. However, it was gathered that the CBN governor will reach the president on the next line of action. A federal high court in Abuja has sentenced a former chief accountant pension office of the head of service of the Federation, Gaba Tai, to 3 years imprisonment. Justice Inyang Ehu, in his judgment, held that the prosecution proved the allegations contained in the 7-count charge on which Tai was tried beyond reasonable doubt. Although Justice Ehu sentenced Tai to 3 years per count, the judge ordered that the sentences shall run concurrently. The judge added that it was clear that the allegations of money laundering were premised on conversion of resources derived directly or indirectly from illegal acts. He noted Tai merely denied the allegations without any concrete evidence to rebut the case of the prosecution. The judge equally held that Tai failed to show, even by a shred of evidence, that he utilized any of the money paid to him by the office of the head of service through his private bank for any official duty for which the payments were made. And now to sports. President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Alhaji Ibrahim Gusau, has told the Flying Eagles to focus their minds on winning Monday's semi-finals clash with either the Gambia or South Sudan to reach the final of the 17th African Under-20 Cup of Nations ongoing in Egypt. Speaking to the players and officials in their dressing room at the Zizkana Authority Stadium after the victory over Uganda, which qualified the Flying Eagles for this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup Finals, Gusau lauded the spirited efforts of the squad and employed them to do even better against the opponents in the last 4 matches. An own goal by Uganda defender Ibrahim Juma in a panicky touch following Ibrahim Muhammad's shot that rattled the upright sent the Flying Eagles to the semi-finals and also earned a FIFA Under-20 World Cup ticket for Nigeria's 13th appearance at the Global Finals. At the African Under-20 Cup of Nations, Nigerians have been winners 7 times, finished as runner-up twice, and have bronze medalists 3 times. The Flying Eagles won the bronze medals once, as well as reaching the quarterfinals when Nigeria hosted in 1999, in Canada in 2007, and in Colombia in 2011. Now to foreign stories. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has condemned rich countries and energy giants for throttling poor nations with predatory interest rates and creeping fuel prices. At the summit opening, Guterres hit out straight away at the way poor nations are treated by the more powerful. In his speech on the opening day of the UN Least Developed Countries Summit in Qatar, Guterres said that wealthy nations should provide $500 billion annually to help others trapped in vicious circles that block their efforts to boost economies and improve health and education. The summit of the 46th LDC is normally held every 10 years, but has twice been delayed since 2021 because of the coronavirus pandemic. Two of the poorest countries, Afghanistan and Myanmar, are not present at the meeting in Qatar's capital, Doha, because their governments are not recognized by UN members. Also, no leader from any of the world's major economies attended. He said economic development is challenging when countries are starved for resources, drowning in debt, and still struggling with the historic injustice of an unequal COVID-19 response. Meanwhile, Malawi's president, Lazarus Chakwera, the summit's chairman, also hit out at the broken promises made by the international community, saying that aid is not a favor or an act of charity, but a moral responsibility. Hong Kong officials said the fire in Timbuktu on the city's harbor front was likely put out hours after it first erupted in major sections of the neighborhood's Nathan Road thoroughfare. One of Hong Kong's main transport lifelines had been shot, causing traffic disruptions. The fire department said the fire department has confirmed that no casualties have been recorded and 2 people have been treated for minor injuries. Police told newsmen that 170 people from nearby residential blocks were relocated to a safe distance as embers fell to the ground. Flames were first spotted near scaffolding at the top of the building, with the blaze clearly visible across the harbor and sending sparks raining down to neighboring streets. That ends the midday news on OSBC TV. Join us at 5 for the evening news. Good afternoon.